Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. Today it is a 1 vs 1 on Galactic Process between our red Terran player, Iaguz, and up top, our blue Zerg player, Scarlett. And I hope I'm saying that correctly. Both of these players are very high level, but I don't remember seeing Iaguz or Iaguz. But either way, we're going to go with it. Speed this on up to the 8x mark. The 2-minute point of the game, and everything starts to get good. Everything starts to happen. 2 barracks down to cover that spot for the Terran there. And out comes the first Reaper. Overlords on the way to the base. And Scarlett's usual quad Zerglings on the way as well. And this time she has 2 behind that as well. I guess is moving along, and we'll spot the expansion here. Not quite interested in that. Wants to see what's going on in the base. Queen disallowing that. And a host of Zerglings here now at the base, chipping away. But the Reapers are out, and we'll be able to take these out here fairly easily. SCV gonna try and repair up this supply depot. Shouldn't be too much of a problem here. Another SCV coming off the line. And all of the Zerglings dead. Did do a little bit of economic damage to the Terran, having to bring off these SCVs to repair. Not sure if it was worth 6 Zerglings or not. And now triple Reapers here. And it looks like a pause happened there. And now quaddy Reapers out on the field, but 3 Queens a little hard to deal with. A couple of hidden Overlords throughout the map here. Take a look at the base here. Factory coming up for Iaguz and his command center for his natural. And the Reapers have made it to the main base. Will take out a Queen. And should be able to take out a few Zerglings here and possibly drones along the way. There's at least 1 drone, 2 drones. And now the Reapers here getting surrounded and probably won't make it out of here, but did do quite a bit of damage. Let me take a look at the units lost tab here. 15 units lost for Scarlett at the moment there. And had to catch my breath for a moment. And so, but that's not too bad for Zerg, even though losing 15 units, Zerg can snap back from that fairly easily, and it's really only 262 more resources than what Iaguz had lost. But, gotta remember, most of those were drones as well, or at least a good amount of them were drones. And at least 125 or so of Queen damage. So Scarlett at the moment technically losing a little bit more than her opponent. And Iaguz having to do a lot of repairing at this map, or this match rather. And now for the destructible force field rocks. And the Zerg are going to open up that for additional flanking action. Hatchery coming down. And a 4th Queen in on the action here, and a whole bunch of Zerglings pecking away at the advanced force field. Medevac moving a tank, cruising along. Tankovac, wild wacky Tankovac action. And tank gonna get released here down at the bottom. Try and blast away some of these Zerglings. And just picks it up, brings it a little bit further. The Queen that could have gotten to him, the range was pretty close there. And now the Zerglings coming around the far side, but the Reapers are there for the flank. And so far, so good with this Tankovac drop. Doing quite a bit of damage to these Queens and chewed up a good number of Zerglings. Another orbital command here, picking up and gonna land at his next expansion. And Scarlett now with quintuple queens. And 1-1 on the way as well. And take it back, now drop again. Double hit on the queens. And now bringing in the Marines. And a big old pile of Zerglings here comes from the rear. And didn't expect that, so he's going to have to pick up, bring him on the ledge to split him up pretty nice there. But it's not going to be enough. And he's going to have to leave one tank for dead here. But it does fire once and takes out a couple things before it dies. Some banelings in the mix here, and centrifugal hooks on the way as well. And Tinkerback looking for a better spot here to drop and hit some of these banelings. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet. Back at the Terran base here. 1-1 coming for him as well. And all kinds of barracks are being created. So many barracks. Or more like reactors, rather. All at the same time here. Terran getting ready for all-out war. And may put some Widow Mines over there. Be an interesting choice against that. Now Scarlett gonna try and take out the rocks around here to get the flank on the expansion here. And that does open up quite a bit. More than just the expansion to the barracks and to the main base. Considering there is no blockage at the main ramp there. And even more banelings now coming on in. And decent creep coverage as well by Scarlett this map. I always say this map, but really should be this match. And just about half of the map is covered. But now clearing up there with the scan. Not going to be pushing in on the expansion here, but here comes the huge force. And pushing on in, and too many banelings here. A couple of Hellbats here will absorb quite a bit and torch some of those banelings. And all the banelings now gone. And really just relying on queens at the moment. And a flank around the backside. It doesn't really do all that much. And now I think is the time to push for Iaguz. If he pushes right now, should be able to do some big damage, especially economic damage down here to this expansion. Before all of those eggs hatch, and they have hatched, they are ready to attack and lose the expansion there. And all of the Zerglings morphing on in to banelings. Take just a moment here, and once those are out, gonna need some lings with them. And here they come, gonna blast up some of these Marines, and some fairly good hits there, but a good chunk survives down at the bottom here. And doesn't look like for long though. Here comes the Zerglings, picks them up, and gonna run on out of there now. And still reinforcements coming from the Terran constantly here. A couple new Hellbats on the way, which go a long way against Zerglings and banelings. And now some mutas are being brought into the battle. There's really only a few, so I'm not going to do too much here. Tons of baneling hits all over these units. And the only survivors, Marauders, and a couple Hellbats there. I almost wanted to say Firebat for a minute, and I really missed the Firebat. And I know it is technically in the game, but I missed it in the game. In the multiplayer. And Hellbat does absolutely wonders against Zerglings and banelings to some degree, but they are light, so they do take that extra damage from banelings rather. but regardless, can absorb quite a bit here. Drones moving on in with a bunch of Zerglings, and is this the last-ditch effort of Scarlett or not here? And it was a huge sacrifice of drones there. And losing the expansion down here may have been a death sentence for Scarlett. And a huge cancellation there. And the Zerglings here moving on in, but the fire bats. Oh, I want to call them fire bats so bad. I always say it. And the Hellbats and Marines and Marauders win the game, but I really think that was sort of a death sentence right there, losing that, all that larvae, all that precious larvae and injections lost, which is a big deal for Zerg, and it's a big deal to lose an expansion as any race, but really hits you hard as Zerg, just because that is where you produce from. That's essentially losing your barracks or your gateways. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.